Hi guys, my name is Rochelle and I'm a Ravenclaw, and today I'm here to talk to you about what I'm planning to read in the month of October. So as usual, there are 6 books that I'm planning to share with you here today. I've got 2 audiobooks, 2 ebooks and 2 physical books to talk about, so we better get started. So these 2 should look very familiar because they're Genocide and Children of the Mind by Orson Scott Card. These were in my TBR for last month because previously I tried to listen to these. I've got these both as audiobooks and I had some issues. Well, I also had some issues this month with the audiobook. I had a similar issue. This is 600 pages. I got about 100 pages into this on the audiobook and then my device reset and my audiobook reset, and I could not find my place again. So I threw a bit of a tantrum and decided to listen to something else, which I'll talk about in my wrap-up. But yes, so attempt number 3. These are books 3 and 4 in the Ender Wiggin series. So I can't really go into too much details, but these 2 books follow the further adventures of Ender Wiggin. Hoping to finish both of these this month. This one is just under 600 pages. I think it's like 590 something pages. This one is much shorter. It's only like 370 pages. This shouldn't take up all of my audiobook time. Looking forward to that. So I'll talk about my ebooks very quickly. The ebook that I am currently reading is The Stone Key by Isabel Carmody. This is book 5 in her Obi Newton series, so I can't tell you too much about what's going on in here, but the Obi Newton series follows Elspeth. Elspeth is a young woman who presents with what we would call paranormal abilities, telepathy, empathy, that kind of stuff. Being able to speak with animals. And Elspeth lives in a world where her world has gone through what I'm assuming is a nuclear fallout situation. So much of the land is contaminated, things are very different, we've lost a lot of the technology that we had. This story follows Elspeth as she discovers her abilities. There is also another storyline where there is a prophecy where other potential nuclear weapons still exist and Elspeth will disarm them, but there is also another person working towards the opposite. This one is big. This is another 1,000-page tome. This is more like a middle grade, like young adult, so the writing is a lot less complex, so this should move pretty quickly. And the next ebook that I'm hoping to get to this month is Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erickson. This is the first book in the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. This is like a huge series that covers multiple time periods, potentially hundreds of different POVs. I'm not entirely sure if it's something that I want to get into, but I do want to give this a shot because it's very highly acclaimed and very well received critically in the fantasy sci-fi genre. So I don't know a huge amount what this is about. I'm not reading small books this month, guys. So yeah, not entirely sure what this is about, but I am very intrigued. And my 2 physical books of the month are, first one is The Mark of the Jackal, book 3 of Zakora by Nicholas and Alison Lockell. This is a middle grade fantasy, originally self-published by these 2 Australian authors. I met them at a convention and bought the first book when it was self-published, and then bought the second book when it was also self-published, and now look guys, their book got picked up. So this is book 3. I've read book 1 and book 2 previously and really enjoyed them. So this is a middle grade fantasy, kind of along the lines of Del Toro Quest. I don't know how many of you know what that is, but if you do, kind of along those lines. So this story kicks off when the elder 2 brothers witness the kidnapping of their little baby sister, and they attempt to go and rescue her in a land covered in darkness. And Like, the covers are all this beautiful. And the final book that I want to talk about today is In the Ruins by Kate Elliott. This is book 6. This is the penultimate book in this series. This is only 800 pages compared to book 5's 1037. So this feels quite a bit smaller than the last one that I was holding. But this is a story following two main characters, Leith and Alan. And this is a sort of fantasy historical retelling of one of the great European wars. I'm not entirely sure which of them it is, but finally some things that I've been waiting to happen from the beginning of the series happened in the last book, so I'm very excited to get to this book and kind of see how things are playing out. So I'm very excited for this. And the last thing that I want to quickly talk to you guys about is I will be participating in the hashtag Graphic ReadAthon, which takes place from Friday the 6th from 5 p.m. till Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And this readathon is about reading the graphic novels and comics and manga, etc. that you've maybe been neglecting. And as I'm sure you can see, that's like my physical graphic novel pile. I've read all of those, but I own quite a few digital graphic novels and comics and manga that I haven't got to yet because Humble Bundle is the devil. I think I would say I've probably got about 100 different things still left to read from my Humble Bundles that I've purchased throughout the year. So I'm hoping to make a significant dent in that. There are challenges and stuff, but I'm basically just using this readathon as motivation to read the graphic novels that I have and have been putting off. I think my main focus for this readathon will be the rest of the Image comics that I own. I've got several bundles. One of them is Image comics, one of them is from Boom Studios, and one of them is like a bunch of fairy tales and manga. I'm 2/3 of the way through the stuff that I got from Image, so a lot of these are first volumes or first issues, so that I can kind of figure out what I actually want to buy physically and collect and read. So I will be participating in that. I think I've rambled on long enough. I'm gonna let you go. If you are interested in anything that I've talked about here today, please leave me a comment. I would love to chat with you. What are you guys planning to read in the month of October? I know lots of you are very excited because it's Halloween. I live in a country that Halloween's not a thing, so I can't get all like spooky. I could, but I'm also a big wuss, big scaredy cat, big lame-o. So none down for that. Stephen King, I mean, I'll read The Gunslinger eventually, but not about that life. So yeah, what are you guys planning to read in October? I would love to know, and I hope you guys have a magical day. Bye!